Hello girls, welcome to Anna Exclusive. We are back at it again with another topic. We are going to get right into it. I'm sure you've seen the title and you know that there's a lot in store for us to discuss. And we are just going to talk about it. Why do women let themselves go? Why do they let themselves go? There's got to be a lot beneath that letting yourself go, you know? Why do women let themselves go? And what is that constant self-inflicted obesity, overweight war, that internal struggle that makes a woman fluctuate and, despite giving birth, or even if you've not given birth, what sort of things surround a woman when she's, really not caring for herself in terms of her appearance and gaining weight. Although we know it can be hormonal, it can be metabolic, but still, are there things that can be put in place in terms of changing your diet or sort of seeking sort of mental support to help with that? It's time to sort of muster the courage, really look inwardly and see, why do women let themselves go? Why do they face that internal struggle, that self-inflicted obesity war, or overweight, extremely overweight? It's something every woman would probably, just maybe go through every now and again. But some people pick themselves up just before they go off the bandwagon completely into a spiral that can be quite detrimental to their overall appearance. And some people actually can't control themselves. It's all in the power of that, the power of the tongue. Again, this time not in what we're saying, but how we are using our mouths. What are we eating? What's going in? What's coming out? Also checking ourselves, going to the doctors for your follow-ups, checking your hormones, just checking that you're metabolically okay, just so you don't go off that tangent into the world of appearing as one that's sort of really let themselves go. So really the question is, why do women let themselves go? We're going to talk about the self-inflicted obesity war. This can be deeply rooted in the complex intersections of body image we see all around us. And recently we've seen Lizzo. She's making a real comeback. I don't know if it is Ozempic, but I do not condone Ozempic in my humble opinion. I really strongly believe in working hard, because when you do work hard, at least you can reap the benefits of self-fulfillment and actually knowing that you can do it. So however long it takes, I think once you are ready to really work through your weight loss journey, there's no stopping you. It's just actually getting to that place of being able to stick with it and then maintain. So, right, let's get back to it then. So, this self-inflicted obesity war, again, it's definitely got to do with a lot of body image, and then, riddled with social expectations, the culture in which we are from, what we're surrounded by, and ultimately health. That's the main goal, to be in good health. And, like all individuals face these societal pressures to conform to body ideals, right? But it's these pressures that are compounded by unique historical, plethora of unique historical instances that have happened that can actually affect and shape a woman and how they view their bodies. This struggle often lies in reconciling with cultural pride, in the fuller figure. So even if you're born and raised in America, in the UK, in Canada, although fuller bodies are not always at the forefront. I mean, now with the rise of all of BBLs and all of that, but it seems like the skinny body is emerging again. So it's not really, if you're in the Western society, a thing where that fuller body is something to say, oh, I will stay overweight or I'll let myself go just because fuller bodies are being embraced. The struggle often lies in connecting with the cultural pride. That is where I see the problem. Thinking that maybe, there's pride in having a fuller body as a woman, it's more feminine, and, that look of femininity, having fuller hips, having a fuller bust size and all of that. But there's a slippery slope where it's important to, draw that demarcation line and know a fuller figure that's healthy within a good BMI range, which isn't always a determinant. We know that with the BMI, but at least it gives you, a good point to start at. So, there's pressures for being thin as well. We know that. Recently I watched, I think it was the American Horror. Is it called Horror Story or something? And the beautiful actress, her name is Laura. Her surname is a K. I think her parents are probably of Kenyan descent. She's gorgeous. And in that episode, she was given, I think, a tapeworm to ingest. Obviously, I think it's all, fiction. But she was given a tapeworm because I think she went to a modelling audition. And one of the judges there said that she'd be great if she was, I believe, a size 2. And she wanted to do all in her power to lose weight, and she was really slim. But obviously in the supermodeling world, the judge was explaining to her that her weight was deemed as being extremely overweight. So, I mean, I've gone off on a tangent there, but just to explain how, if you're determined, depending on what sorts of cultural context we're talking about, in that context it was the supermodeling world. So culturally, the supermodeling world has always, deemed thinness to be of high regard. They've held it in high esteem, even though plus size models are, beginning to get into the mix. With Sophie Dahl, she was a big plus size model, but recently I saw her randomly. I'm sure I've just don't know much about her. I know she's an author now, but Sophie Dahl was a really big plus size model back in the day, and now she's become quite skinny. So, back again to health, it seems like there's that fine line there, embracing the cultural context, that fuller body, and then on the other hand, embracing extreme thinness, like I explained with Laura Kay. I can't pronounce her name for the life of me, but if you Google Laura Kay in the American Horror movie tapeworm episode, I'm sure it'll come up. So that just, shows the intersection of, extreme slimness versus the extreme fuller body and all the cultural context that comes with that. So that's the struggle that often lies, it lies between reconciling both. And it's just, all while managing these realities of health concerns, such as obesity, this self-inflicted obesity war, it can be understood as that internal conflict that many women experience. And when dealing with these issues, related to weight, body image and health, a lot of people do see it as something that's quite a touchy topic, and I'm not sure why, because the more we are open to discussing it and, letting people know, just drumming it in their memories, in their minds, shall I say, that it is important to get rid of this weight. Like, it's not culturally acceptable in any regard, especially regarded to weight. It's time that drape comes down of fuller figure and all of that, because it's just hampering weight loss progress. And you just don't want that down the line. You really want to try and be away from diseases as far as possible. You don't want to have to go down that, type 2 diabetic slippery slope. It's just not great. Right? So if you can think of all the feelings that are evoked, related to being overweight, shame, guilt, frustration. I mean, I'm sure you can think of a few off the top of your head, confusion. It's so difficult being overweight, being obese, having to navigate and balance between, sometimes putting on that facade of celebrating a natural body, and just, sort of, busking in your overweightness, in your adipose tissue, and really, behaving like you own it. When really, in mainstream society, even within relationships, being overweight can pose problems. We see it all the time where men will say, oh, she's let herself go. And I mean, think about if your husband or boyfriend told you you've let yourself go. Just think instantly of those, those feelings that I've just mentioned. I'm sure you can mention a few more. Off the top of your head, you can sort of think of more feelings that would be evoked. So it's just navigating that balance, and this term again that I've just coined, the self-inflicted obesity war. I thought long and hard about it. I thought long and hard about how it reflects what I'd like to get to the bottom of, which is the emotional and psychological toll that this conflict can have. This is the whole point of this channel. I want to solely focus on helping women with this emotional and psychological battle, the toll that this conflict can take. That's why I've coined the term self-inflicted obesity war. The psychological and the emotional toll that this conflict can take in your mind is just, it's really, really something. It can be so negative, and it can lead to a manifestation of low self-esteem, can trump your confidence, and really just make you feel worthless and low. Low self-esteem and body dissatisfaction is so intertwined with mental health struggles. That obesity anxiety, the obesity depression is so great that if we were to try and unpack how great it was, we'd literally be talking for 6 hours on end. We definitely have to have a call in as well, because I know that there are women that need this open dialogue. They need to have this discussion. They need to let it out. They need to discuss what their triggers are. They need to discuss what the environmental factors are surrounding being obese, being extremely overweight. Unpack these cultural subconscious biases that are allowing them to remain in this state of being overweight and, faking this body positivity. This fake body positivity has to stop. It must stop, because it's causing people to be ill. Now, don't get me wrong, thin people get sick as well, but statistically, we know that being overweight And being obese is linked to so many illnesses and diseases. And we know that. So it's only doing us a disservice, and we are not fully basking in our full authentic selves when we are covered in layers of fat. Those layers of fat are not only covering our body, but they're covering internal organs, and it can, year after year, cause struggles. It's that fight in between your organs, just causing issues. That metabolically and hormonally, there's a lot going on with people that you see that are obese, right? So, we have that seesaw imbalance of Western beauty standards, which are usually shaped by Eurocentric ideals, which glorify thinness and slenderness. This is pushing women to aspire to bodies that may not always reflect their genetic or cultural heritage, but because they've been placed in the Western world, they feel that, on the other hand, they should embrace that thinness, but never actually reach that world of thinness. And obviously, don't get me wrong, we have different body types, which is important to know. You've got to know whether you're an ectomorph, which is quite lean, a mesomorph, which is quite round and full. And then we have an endo, which is quite athletic. And you can be a variation of both, which is absolutely fine. Absolutely fine. Being an ecto and an endo is quite desired because you have a svelte upper body and then quite a nice rounded lower body, which pairs together quite well. And then if you're an apple shape, like a mesomorph, you can always make sure that you're doing lots of cardio to sort of lean out and make sure that you don't appear as being too stout or too rounded. It's important to know your body types as well. That will also help you to know genetically where you stand and sort of push and motivate you, and ultimately make sure that you can maintain a healthy weight, knowing your body type. So there's all this pressure surrounded, pressure from every angle. And it's just the pressure to fit into these contradictory ideals. It creates confusion. It creates self-doubt. And just for some, the desire to embrace their curves, which are sometimes celebrated in their communities, it sort of gives them the notion that maybe they do look okay. And then, other times that internal struggle again, it's like, maybe I don't, because I don't fit the Eurocentric ideals, but then I fit other communities' ideals. So it can be really difficult, where you're celebrated in one community and not celebrated in another. But I can tell you that being excessively obese would definitely not fly in either community, because there is a fine line between being curvy, ideally, in most communities, and just really going off the bar. So in all actuality, I do think that even though they do say the BMI is not conclusive, it is still good to use it as a benchmark. I know some will argue that they're taller, so the BMI, but if one would stay within the BMI range, it would give them a good ballpark number to sort of remain at. It's always good to use figures to keep you on track, sort of like a written down number of where you should be. So in case you're deviating by any chance, you know where to pick yourself up, right? So, it's just really, really, you can be at odds with yourself to meet the broader society's standards. And then the influence of social media So recently, Slim Kim has been trending all over TikTok. I think it's dwindled down a bit now, but she was all over the internet, and there was an uproar. There was half and half. Some women actually supporting Slim Kim and saying, oh yeah, embrace your thinness. Being thin is the way to go. It's elegant. You can wear whatever you want. You feel confident in yourself. You don't have to worry about eating around people. It was just that. It's just that dichotomy, really, and then others saying, oh, why would you say that? That's not, embracing all of us. And I just thought Slim Kim is actually, in my humble opinion, doing the right thing. It's really important that women have outspoken advocates of being thin and stop this hiding behind this body positivity that in actual fact, people that are not willing to do better for themselves will take that body positivity banner, raise it high and just say, you know what, there's body positivity. There's a body positivity community that I can join to. So why do I have to even bother myself to even, lose the weight or even go to the lengths and breadths of bothering to become a slimmer, healthier version? I can just be big, be fat, be rotund, and just sit there, gobble everything up, eat to my heart's desire, and then, just mask it and drown in the body positivity swimming pool and just live life in a swimmingly, great fashion. But no, it goes beyond aesthetics. The health risks are absolutely enormous. With obesity, it's a significant concern. It's not something to be taken lightly. Each time you reach out for that chocolate bar, that's another wrinkle being added to your face. How is that going to benefit you? If you're getting older, you're 25 plus, you need to think about eating a bit more in a circumspect, guarded way. You need to think more about eating whole foods. Put the chocolate down. If you think you can't help yourself, offer others. Share. Sharing is caring. Share with others, right? And it's just been affected. Obesity affects you in so many ways, such as heart disease, diabetes is a big one, type 2 diabetes, hypertension. Why would you want hypertension, which leads to strokes, aneurysm? Diabetes leads to, probably being on dialysis, going blind, having your leg amputated. You just don't want that for yourself. And there's all these factors that influence obesity. I was saying in the last video that if you look at people in positions of power, how many of them do you see that are obese? So, like I was saying in the previous video, this is how it begins to link to your socio-economic status and the limited access to healthcare and all the stress that comes with all the systemic issues. Just being overweight will not help your climbing up the social ladder. It won't help you at all. And these are the things that need to be really unpacked. If women knew the detriment to which being obese will really hurt them, how it's merging your face and your neck together, where to the point where you really literally don't have a neck, how your jawline is being covered in fat, it's making your nose look bigger, it's just changing the dichotomy of your face. It doesn't help your mental health esteem if you're looking like that. I mean, some people say, oh, I have a pretty face, but I'm overweight. stop lying to yourself. If you were skinnier, definitely, most definitely, you would look 100 times better. And it's important to lose this weight when you're young rather than when you're older, because the more you're getting older with this weight, your body is, becoming comfortable being in that stretch state. The body will never actually be comfortable being in that stretch state. But because you're telling your body that you want to be that way, it will work around it for as long as possible until it gives up and starts to, say, you know what, we can't do this anymore. Type 2 diabetes, hypertension, heart disease, here you go. And you just need to prioritize your health over everything, right? Prioritize your health, prioritize your appearance. It is crucial. Healthier lifestyles. Focus on balance and nutrition, like I said at the start of this video. Whole foods. Get in your physical activity. What do you enjoy doing? Are you actually taking care of your mental health? Do you have a counsellor? Do you have a therapist? This can all reduce the risks associated with obesity. You just want to have a good quality of life. You don't want to live your whole life being in that perpetual state of that war, that obesity war, losing weight and gaining, that yo-yo style. You don't want that. So, let the war go. Let go of the war. Let go of the war. Women need to let go of the war. Let go. Letting go is freeing yourself from that internal battle. That internal battle, which will in turn help your emotional and physical well-being, which will make you holistically more of a, an adult that people want to be around. It will reduce the tantrums, reduce the flusters and the impromptu little, flare-ups that you have. It makes you a nicer person when, you won't be perfect, but at least you'll be able to have some control over your emotional and psychological status, right? So it's that constant war, against the body of dieting, going through all of the body shaming and, constantly striving to fit in to an external ideal. Yeah, that only reinforces feelings of inadequacy and self-doubt. So it's really time to take the ball by the horn, put in the towel and really just say, I'm doing this today. Day 1 will be difficult. Day 2 will be difficult. Day 3 will be difficult. Day 4 will be difficult. Day 5, day 6, day 7, I'm soaring. I can absolutely do this. You just got to tell yourself, I can absolutely do this. And take those pictures, like I said. Take those pictures, zoom in, and just look at your jawline or lack thereof. Look at your neck, stubby, short, fat neck. Look how your nose is spread wide open or become even broader because of the fatness. Just really do not go to that land of being someone that self-punishes. What I think needs to happen to break this cycle of self-inflicted obesity war is time to start focusing on your bodies. Fight against all of those things that will not help you to have self-focus. All the things that will not foster compassion, acceptance, and holistic health all round. Let that go. Let go of that war, that internal struggle. Let go of it. It doesn't mean that you're going to accept unhealthy habits or that you won't have an unhealthy moment every now and again. But it means that you're approaching health from a place of self-love rather than punishing yourself. Each time you reach for that chocolate bar, maybe you've done 3 days of eating well, and then you reach for the chocolate bar, and then after the chocolate bar touches your tongue, and then afterwards, what happens? You set yourself off again, and then you see that you gain all of the pounds that you just lost by drinking the water and eating whole foods and eating really well. You see that after the 3 days, after you have the chocolate, then you want another, then you want a bag of crisps, then you want then you want chips, then you want this, then you want that, and it just doesn't stop. So if you can be a little bit motivational to yourself and really try to be your biggest cheerleader and say, you can do this, you can do this. Anytime that food craving comes, just say to yourself 12 times, you can do this, you can do this, you can do this, or take a walk, or even just take a nap. That will really help, you know? So it's all about cultivating that mindset where well-being is prioritized and your overall appearance as well, you know? Setting these goals will just help you to really lose the weight. I really want you to lose that weight. I really want you come to that other side, you know, the land, like I said, the land flowing with milk and honey. Come to that side. That side has been kept away for too long. Those that are on that end, that's that end, they know how great it is. They would never ever want to ever go back to that dark place, me, myself being included. So, again, we are focusing on the emotional and psychological on this channel, and however long it takes, I am here, always. I will keep on reiterating the importance of empowering yourself to your own health, to redefine the way your body looks, right? And it's important that you live in harmony with your body. You need to be free from the internal and external pressures, right? You need to shape your sense of self-worth. You need to let go of that self-inflicted obesity war. Embrace your health. Right? You need to have that self-acceptance of yourself. It's no good pretending. You can pretend to others, but you cannot pretend to yourself. It's time to let go of the yo-yo dieting, time to let go of these harmful cycles on your body, which you are shaming yourself. Each time you go out looking big, like a whale, people are wondering, what is behind her looking like that? What is going on in her inner circle, inside her heart? Why is she able to eat to this detriment to appear like this? Don't be like that. Break out of it. Root yourself in deep self-love and empowerment, and give that gift to yourself of being slim or skinny again. Take yourself away from self-inflicted sicknesses through obesity and really run as quickly as you can into the land of light, the land of being skinny and slim. You deserve that to yourself. You owe it to yourself. You owe it to your body. You owe it to your health. You owe it to your overall well-being. So I will leave it here, and we will be back at it again with another part in this series. So as always, we need to make sure that you're keeping your psychological and emotional health up to par. Continue to be those star girls that you are, and let me know what more I can do, talk about, and we will have a call-in very soon. I'm looking to book that call-in really, really soon, so we can all discuss and chat about it, at length. So that will be great. That will be great. So girls, continue to embrace your appearance. Embrace it in a way that you will feel confident about. in a way that will also enrich your health and steer you far away from diabetes, heart disease, and so many more, just because of being overweight. So I leave it here. Thank you so much, girls. We will be talking again, having so many more discussions about this and related topics. So all the best. See you. Bye-bye.